Hello students, this is Ms. Martinez. This is going to be a quick video on how to add and subtract integers using what is called the box method. And so some of you might remember this from 7th grade, but if you don't, this is a different way that you can actually add and subtract integers, which hopefully some of you may find a little more helpful. So the steps look like a lot, but once you see it um, kind of working itself out, you'll see that it's really not that complicated. Okay, so step 1 says to draw a box, pretty easy. Step 2 says to look at the problem but ignore the signs. Well, more so, look at the numbers and ignore the signs. Step 3 is to put the bigger number on top, the smaller number on bottom. Step 4 is to place each number sign outside of the box. Step 5 is to ask yourself, are they the same signs or different signs? If they're the same signs, you're going to remember same signs, add and keep. If they're different signs, then you're going to tell yourself, I need to subtract. And then the final step is to keep the sign that is on the top of the box. So let's go ahead and go through some examples so that you can see what this looks like. As you can see, I still have the steps here on the side. Right over here, just so that you guys can refer to them throughout the video. And so the first step is to go ahead and draw a box. So let me go ahead and draw a box. There we go. Now, in that box, I'm going to place my two numbers, right? That's step 3. Step 3 says to put the bigger number on top, the smaller number on bottom. But in step 2, it did say that I have to ignore my signs. So just looking at the numbers, not paying attention to any sign, go ahead and place the bigger number on top. So 5 is bigger, so I'm going to put 5 on top. Let me switch. All right. Now 2 is smaller, so 2 is going to go in the bottom. So let me go ahead and put the 2 in the bottom. There we go. That's step 1. I'm putting my numbers in the box, ignoring the sign. Step 2, I'm sorry, that was not step 1. That was step 3. Step 4 is to place the number sign outside of the box. So the number that you want to place outside of the box is whatever number is right in front, whatever sign, I'm sorry, is right in front of the number. So for the 5, it's going to be a negative. So that negative is going to go in front of the 5. For the 2, it's also going to be a negative. That negative is going to go outside of the 2. Now you want to go ahead and look at your signs for step 5. Okay? Step 5 says, are they the same signs or are they different signs? And so I have a negative and a negative. They're same signs, right? Since they're same signs, I know that I'm going to have to add my numbers. So what is 5 plus 2? 5 plus 2 is 7. And then step 6 says to always just keep the sign that is on top. There we go. The answer to that is negative 7. Let's try the second example. For the second example, I have 9 plus negative 17. Okay, and so step 1 was to draw my box. Step 2 is to look at the numbers and ignore the signs. So just look at the actual number. Okay, 9 and 17. What is bigger, 9 or 17? 17. So 17 is going to go on top. That is step 3. Put the bigger number on top, the smaller number, which is 9, on bottom. Now for step 4, I'm going to go ahead and go back to the signs, right? And I'm going to look at the sign that is directly in front of that number. For 9, there's no sign here. Anytime there's no sign, that's a positive. So I'm going to go ahead and put a positive in front of the 9. For 17, my sign is a negative. So I'm going to put a negative in front of 17. Okay, now step 5, ask yourself, are they same signs or different signs? Well, I have a negative and I have a positive. So they're different signs. The rule for different signs is to subtract. Remember, same signs, add and keep. different signs, subtract. And so when I subtract 17 from 9, I will get 8. Again, remember, I subtracted because they are different signs subtract. Okay, now step 6 is to keep the sign that is on top. So I'm going to go ahead and bring down that negative. My solution here is negative 8. All right, let's look at some more examples. Again, my first step is to draw my box, so let me do that. I'm actually going to do that for both of my problems now that I'm here. All right, took care of my first step. Step 2 is to look at the numbers, ignore the signs, okay? I have here on example 3, I have 15 and 22. So what's bigger, 22 or 15? Well, 22 is bigger, so 22 goes on top. 15 goes on bottom. Now that my numbers are inside the box, I'm going to go ahead and look at the sign now. You always want the sign that's in front of that number. Okay. The 15 has a negative in front, so I'm going to put a negative in front of the 15. And the 22 also has a negative in front, so I'm going to put a negative for the 22. Now look at the signs. Same signs or different signs? Well, they're same signs, right? What is the rule for same signs? Same signs, add and keep. So I'm going to go ahead and add these numbers. We'll get 37, and I'm going to keep their sign, or you can just go with step 6, which says that you're going to keep the sign that is on top. All right. Now, number 4 looks a little bit different. And the reason why is because I have 2 negatives right next to each other. So before I even continue with my box method, I need to remember that anytime I have 2 negatives right next to each other, like I do there, they become positive. 2 negatives make a positive, right? So my new problem, let me write it, move my box down and write it there. My new problem is going to be negative 14 plus, because 2 negatives made a positive, they became positive, plus 23. That's my new problem. Now I'm going to go ahead and go through my steps. Look at the numbers, ignore the signs. What's bigger, 23 or 14? 23 is bigger, so 23 is going to go on top. 14 is going to go in the bottom. Now that my numbers are in the box, I'm going to go ahead and place their sign outside. So the 14 has a negative, so I'm going to go ahead and put that negative outside. The 23 has a positive, so I'm going to put a positive outside of the 23. Now I'm going to ask myself, are those signs the same or are they different? The signs are different, so different signs subtract. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract these numbers. I'm going to get 9. 23 minus 14 is 9. I will always carry down the sign that is on top. So in this case, it's a positive 9. You could have also just said 9. Same thing. All right, 2 more examples. I am going to ask you to go ahead and try these out on your own. Pause the video. And then once you think you got it, go ahead and press play and we will go over them. All right, guys, so hopefully you were able to try that problem out on your own, these problems out on your own. We are going to go ahead and go over it together. For the first one, I have negative 32 minus 41. And so I already took care of my first step, which is to draw the box. The second step is to look at the numbers but ignore the signs. So what are the numbers that I have there? I have a 32 and I have a 41. Well, what's bigger, 32 or 41? 41 is bigger, so I'm going to put 41 on top. 32 will go below it. Okay. Now we're on to step 4. Step 4 is to place each number's sign outside of the box. So 32 has a negative, so I'm going to put this negative in front of 32. 41 also has a negative right in front, so I'm going to put a negative outside of 41. Once I do that, I'm going to ask myself, do I have the same signs here? Out here, are these the same signs or are those different signs? They're same signs. So same signs, add and keep. I'm going to add these numbers. And when I add these numbers, I get 73. And then step 6 says that I bring down that sign that is on top. So my answer here is negative 73. All right, the last problem that you should have tried on your own is negative 10 plus negative 6. I drew my box. I'm going to look at the numbers. What's bigger, a 10 or a 6? A 10 is bigger, so I'm going to place it on top. 6 goes on bottom. Next step is to identify the signs. 10 has a negative, so I'm going to put a negative in front of the 10. 6 also has a negative, so I'm going to put a negative in front of the 6. Are these the same signs or different signs? They're the same sign. So same sign, add and keep. I get 16. Bring down the negative. My answer there is negative 16. Okay, so hopefully this helps, guys. Remember, there's so many different ways that you can approach the same problem. Do what works for you. And then if you have any questions, if you're still struggling, please let me know so that I can help you in any way that I can. All right. Thank you.